Today on episode 20 of the lockdown, we speak the triple, not dual, but triple code international, being a member of the Aussie Rugby Sevens, Aussie Gillaroos Rugby League, and presently Australian Rugby 15s Wallaroos, Mahalia Murphy. Thanks for coming on, Mahalia.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having you.
Thanks for having me on your little talk show.
On the talk show. How you been, Mahalia? Been good? What's been happening?
Yeah, not too bad. Not really too much. Just been training here and there, spending time with family, and spending time with my partner and my dog. Not too much, to be honest. Just, spend time to myself.
Who smells better? Be honest. Your dog or Sam? I've smelled Sam after a couple of games.
To be honest, I actually think General smells better. I honestly think General smells better. Like, General only has like 2 showers a week, if that, and he can smell fresh the next time he's like showering. Like, and Sam, on the other hand, he smells daily. So
poor Sam, mate. I don't see you two training much anymore, but I see a lot of karaoke and him singing. Like, what the fuck? Tell us. He's got a very good voice. He's a shit footballer, but he's got a very good voice.
Oh mate, he's trying to chase 2 dreams at the moment, music and footy. So we've been training together, but we just haven't been, posting stuff up. And I think just because recently he's been having a lot more opportunity with rugby and music, he's starting to really get into it. Whereas, in our first kind of year of our relationship, he knew he had talent for both, but he didn't really, chase. So now that he's started to have offers to do gigs and, play with West Harbour.
Unbelievable. What's wrong with him? What are you doing letting him go there? Oh, my God.
He enjoys it. There's a lot of Fijians there as well, and he just loves it because he can go there and have a good laugh, and he knows a lot of the boys, so he's comfortable, and especially because he's not from rugby, like he's from a league background, so him playing rugby and then knowing the people that he's playing with kind of gives him, comfortability.
They're a good bunch of people at West Harbour. They're nice people. We get along real nice with them. They're good people.
Yeah. No, they are. They do.
What's he doing with his karaoke career? Is he going to take off or what? Be honest.
Well, you're gonna have to stay tuned, mate.
I heard he's going to be doing a stage show soon.
No, he's been doing heaps of covers. He's been doing heaps of covers, and before this whole COVID-19 stuff kicked in, he was doing gigs and stuff. But obviously at the moment he's not doing any. So he's been doing covers and stuff.
Is there any truth he did the Tina Turner cover and he put a wig on?
Oh, jeez. Don't even give him that idea. Because he will do it. Don't even give him that idea.
We'll talk about your training. You've been doing a lot of stamina work. How's it been in this coronavirus bullshit? Like, you haven't got access to anything, just like everyone else, obviously. What have you been doing to stay fit?
Road runs at my local park. Just been doing some repeat speed stuff on the side, taking my football down, just doing some passing with Semi, just trying to do it, trying to use what I can at the moment to try and stay a little bit fit and maintain some type of fitness. But it's been challenging because I haven't been able to do gym stuff as much. So that's been a bit tough. But that's the way it is at the moment, and hopefully this stuff starts to clear up and I can use the gym and get strong.
How far off are you, do you think? Like, how much have you dropped on percentage-wise, I'd say? Like, you already, like you're saying, you didn't have many Ks under your belt prior to this because your stuff, from Aussie Sevens to 15 switching over. And then obviously we got hit with coronavirus. Where do you think you're standing right now? Let's say if they announced a comp in 6 weeks, would you be ready, do you think?
At this moment, I reckon I'd be able to survive a game, but I don't think I'd be able to give quality throughout the whole game consistently. I reckon I'd probably give the first couple of minutes, adrenaline and stuff like that pumping through, some good little hit outs, but I think I'd probably be challenged by the last 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah. Any word from the Wallaroos or like Waratahs? I know I've spoken to a lot of people at Rugby Australia and at Waratahs, and they don't know what's going on. But have you heard any idea of what they're expecting, or have all the tests been called off? Because you had a big season coming up with the internationals. Congratulations, you won the Super W. Not the way you wanted to, obviously, but Waratahs for the 3P.
Yeah.
But what's coming up? What are they? Have they sent anything at all to you?
Not really. They haven't really given us any detail about dates on when we're going to start going back and stuff, but they've just given us like ideas through WhatsApp and drills to do and things to expect for when, things do go back to normal and we do go into camp and stuff. But we're just all trying to keep in touch through WhatsApp, trying to keep on track on what we're doing for training, and even split us into groups of like kicking, certain drills, for positions and stuff like that to do. So we haven't been given like any specific detail on when we're going to come together again and, have a camp and stuff like that or play. But at the moment we're just kind of rolling through WhatsApp and posting videos and, chatting about what we're doing and what they want us to do on our end until things go back to normal.
Well, the positive I heard was basically all the tests are cancelled. Most of them are cancelled, at least, especially in Northern Hemisphere countries. But there's word that the Bledisloe will go ahead this year, later in the year, because Australia and New Zealand borders open up. And if that goes ahead, you guys obviously play the Black Ferns. So I'm hoping that goes ahead for you because you had a big season. You had 7 tests this year, and it was going to be the breakout season for the Wallaroos because you've got a great fucking team.
Yeah, for sure. And I think just even from like the last 2 years, you could just see how much like the team would, grow over the 2 weeks that we'd spend in camp just for that one, standalone test match. So, to have the chance of playing 6-7 test matches in 1 year, like you can only imagine how much the team would, benefit from it. So it's disappointing, but we can't control that. But
it's the whole world's in the same predicament as you guys. The whole world's going for the same shit. So look, you got a young squad. Luckily, you got a very young squad, and you got some massive talent coming through as well. So I think you're in. You guys are gonna. I think the best Australia's ever been is 5th, maybe, or 4th.
Yeah.
I guarantee next year will be. You have to be semi-finalists next year. You guys are starting to really hit some strides and looking super. Some of you girls look unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really
there's
exciting.
So much fucking talent. You're excited?
Yeah, it's really exciting because I think like even just watching from, Super W and even observing like other teams, like girls and other teams, you can just see how much they've grown in confidence and experience as well, like playing against us and against other teams. And then to think about, combining those girls up and using that as a team to play internationally is just, it's super exciting. It is. It's really exciting to see, the talent and everything put together and the experience come together and play and stuff like that. So.
Well, you're one of the old nanas now. How old are you? 24, 25?
Old nana.
25?
Okay, now this is going to make me even sound even older, but I'm 26.
26.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Like, you got to be the oldest person in the team, right?
Oh, mate, no way. Hey, listen, my youth will forever remain, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see.
But how did it all start? You obviously been playing a long time. You're from Walgett. Your family's from, I don't know if you are. You from Walgett or your family's from Walgett?
No, my family's from Walgett, but I was born in Blacktown.
So you grew up in Doonside from day one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, geez, I didn't know you, but I thought I'll probably know bloody cousins then if you grew up there. How'd you start? What got you into football?
Well, as a kid, I was like just very active. But when I was in high school, I was doing athletics and I'd train twice a week during school and then basically almost every weekday after school for Doonside at the little athletics club. And then when I was 15, I was about 15, my older sister played for Penrith News at that time, the 15s team, and they were playing down at Engadine, and I used to run the water for the girls. And a couple of the girls didn't turn up for the game, and the coach asked my mum if I could play, and my mum was like, no way, like she's not playing, she does athletics, she can't afford to get injured because she's got to run. So mum said no, and then in second half they asked my mum again, and then they finally convinced her to say yes, and I didn't really understand how to play the game. I just knew from watching that you've got to catch the ball and run and score over the white paint. So later on in the second half, they chucked me on the wing, and I had no idea what to do. But the ball started coming towards me, and I basically had about 20 meters of width of space to run, and I tiptoed along the sideline and scored a try. And that was my first touch of the ball of rugby, and I scored my first try. And I think just that one involvement playing that game kind of intrigued something into me, because I obviously come from an athletics background, and you basically compete against everyone else. Whereas in rugby, you've got teammates, you've got, a team atmosphere, people helping you, people cheering you on. So I really enjoyed that kind of teamwork environment. And I think that's what really ignited me to want to play rugby. So I wasn't even able to play legally at that age. So when I finished high school, I moved away to Nowra to go and study policing. And then every Friday I'd come back on the train, play on the weekends. I'd play league and union. So I played for the Doonside Roos and then the Penrith Emus on the weekend. And then on the Sunday night, I'd go back to Nowra and study for the week. So I did that. And then that's when I kind of pushed athletics aside once I finished high school, because I just really enjoyed rugby. And then that's how I kind of first got involved.
So hold on. Let's rewind a little bit. You went to Nowra to study policing.
Yeah.
What happened with that?
I graduated for policing, and then I basically went to Goulburn for 2 weeks.
Is that where you met Sam?
No.
When you got busted? No. you met him at Goulburn jail.
Come here, boy. No.
So what happened? Well, it's interesting. I never knew that about you.
Yeah, no, I studied policing, and then I spent 2 weeks at Goulburn at the academy, and then I just fell so much in love with rugby that I just kind of, took another turn, because I spoke to a lot of people there, and they just said that there's other ways for me to be involved with the policing, because I wanted to be a liaison officer.
Yeah.
And they said that I don't have to go through Goulburn to get into that industry, and they gave me like other options that I can do if I still wanted to play rugby. They were able to keep me in contact with people and see if I can get some like TAFE certificates as well, because that's what I did it through, TAFE. And then basically rugby just kind of, was just popping up in my eyes, and I was like, rugby.
So how did you make that transfer to league? Because you play for the Gillaroos, you play for Dooney Roos as well, right?
Yeah.
I used to play for the Dooney Roos. Good little club.
Really?
Yeah, when I was young, I was up to the age of 18. I played there as well. The Dooney Roos.
Yeah.
Good old days. What made you what made you go to league? Did you just want to try that out as well, or did you? I didn't even know there was a women's leagues comp back then. I didn't know there was any comp.
Yeah, well, I didn't either until one day I was at the field and I was just doing training, because I was playing rugby at the time, obviously. But then a guy came up to me and asked if I could play. Like, he said he was going to form like a women's team together, and I was like, oh yeah, like that's pretty cool. So he formed a women's team, and then we started playing on Saturdays. On Sundays, sorry, it was actually Sundays, and then I'd play union on Saturday and then league on Sundays, and that's kind of how I got involved with league, was playing with them, and then it eventuated from there, really.
Do they still have a women's team at Dooney Roos?
I don't think so, not at the moment.
Yeah, it's a fucking great club. I'm very surprised actually. Now you said they started a team and never kept it.
They did for 2 years.
They got massive.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
I ended up playing them for 2 years in a row, and then they stopped. But I don't know if they've got one. I don't think they had one for this season or last season.
Yeah, I haven't heard of their team before, so it's surprising. On the footy field, you are well known for your mongrel, right? It's probably the best thing I like about you. Like, we're talking about your mongrel. It's definitely my most favourite aspect of your game. You've played for me a fair few times, and you always fucking end up killing someone. I held pads for you a couple of months ago, boxing pads, and you were really good. I was surprised how good you were. And then I found out that you're a dentist, right? And for people that don't know, the family of dentists are some of the best Indigenous fighters that ever come out of this country. Enough to say that, is he your uncle, Steve?
Uncle
Stevie
Steve.
Dennis.
Mhm.
He was told to me by Johnny Lewis, who's Australia's greatest ever boxing trainer. He said that Stevie Dennis was, in his belief, the greatest Indigenous fighter this country's ever seen, and just was never looked after. And for him to say that, you've got your Lionel Roses, your Tony Mundines, Wally Carrs. It's a huge, it's a huge compliment from a person of that. He's in the World Hall of Fame, Johnny Lewis, World Boxing Hall of Fame. Do you think that mongrel has come from that family bloodline? Is everyone else in Walgett just like that?
There are a lot. There is a lot. Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely in the genetics, because even my sister, when I first watched her play rugby, you could just see like the physicality that she brought to the game as well. And I think just by seeing people express themselves like that on the field, I could see how much damage it would do to the opposition. I'd use that, instead of surrendering in the tackle, I could sit make another 2 meters, and that 2 meters makes a big difference. So that's how I kind of started doing that and implementing it into my own game, because I could see how much damage it can do to the opposition and how many people it can attract for that person to be taken down and then open up space. So it definitely runs in the bloodline, though. I can definitely say that there is a lot of mongrel, physicality that my sister, even my sister, like she's been athletic as well. My mum's been athletic. My mum was very athletic when she was young. Swimming, baseball, and even just looking at photos of her when she was my age and even younger, like she was built, like she was very solid. So it definitely runs in the blood.
Well, you're not big. You're not even.
It's just
big.
strong. Yeah.
You're actually just very strong. Yeah, you're very, very strong. Like, you wouldn't weigh that much, but the way you fucking hit someone is like Eva Capani hitting someone. You've got so much. But Eva's a good 100 kilos, and so when she hits people, they go fucking flatten. You flatten them exactly the same, and you're probably sitting on, we might be off maybe 65, 70, yeah, when you're fit.
Yeah, about 70-ish, yeah.
Yeah, so like you create some major fucking damage. How did that, like, did you start at a young age? Like you said, you started playing rugby at 15, 16, your first game. After school, you started playing. Were you always like that? Were you always that, like, I don't know, are you fearless? That's a better question. Because you look like you're fearless out there.
Yeah.
Or do you just play that style of footy?
I personally feel like, even watching, like, my first couple of games of rugby, like, you could see I had it in me to be mongrel. But then, like, even, after the years of experience and training and, doing the weights and practicing leg drive and stuff like that has just made it even 10,000 times better. So, watching the games from, 2012, 2013, when I first started playing, you could see that I had the attitude to just want to run through people and just, get through them as best as I could, or get around them as best as I could. So I had it in me, but it was no way near as mongrel as I am now. Definitely all the experience that's made it so much more, being.
What year did you make your Gillaroos debut?
2015.
And how many games did you play for the Gillaroos?
I only played the one game my debut, because within a month, that's when Tim Walsh contacted me.
That was August?
I played in
15?
May. I played in May, and then he contacted me in June.
Okay.
And then I played for them in July.
So how long did you play league before you played for the Gillaroos? And how did that come about? Like, they just ring you, or how did you feel when you got that knock on the shoulder saying, "Oh, you've been selected for Australia"?
Oh, it's crazy, because it took me right back to when I first played the 15s game, because the coach at that time, Kelly, she pulled up a video clip on YouTube, and she's like, "Wow, girl, like, you're going to one day play for the Aussie Sevens team." And I was like, "Who's the Aussie Sevens team?" Like, I had no idea who they were. And she showed me this video clip of, the girls throwing like 15-meter balls and running, rapidly around each other and really fast. And I had never seen them before. And ever since that clip, I was like, all right, like, I really want to play for that team. And that's when I first kind of, really set my goal to play for Australia. But it was more for the Aussie Sevens team because of that video clip. And then playing in the Korea knockout, I got selected to play for the Indigenous All Stars, and then
Yeah.
played for them. And obviously, you play against the Australian All Stars, which is basically the Australian team. So
Yeah.
the coach of that team was the Jillaroos coach at that team at the time, Steve Folkes, and he contacted me after that game and asked if I was interested in attending the camp up in Queensland. So then that's how I first started with Jillaroos, and I only played that one game with them because then I made the switch within a month to Sevens.
So while she jumped onto you mid 2015, one of the questions was how'd you find that transition? But obviously you've grown up with rugby and you knew when to switch on and switch off, which a lot of girls do now. So half my 15 squad plays rugby on league on Sundays and plays rugby on Saturdays. What were the big hurdles you come across when you first went to Aussie Sevens? Like, is it the change of environment? So professional, like, I've been there. It's so it is hard work.
Yeah,
that Aussie Sevens program.
What
was the biggest hurdles you come across?
There is so much. I think definitely the level of professionalism, the standard that they carry, going from playing, club footy into, the national team. Just, they're scheduled to do stuff at certain times and you're expected to be there, 5 minutes before. And just the intensity of the training and the discipline that they carry as well. Because this was the year before the Rio Olympics.
Yeah.
So everything was so competitive. Everything was very strict. And I had no idea. I had no idea what to expect. I had only heard things and seen videos of them, but I had never, had any idea on what to expect when I went there. And I kind of just walked in and kind of shot myself in the foot, to be honest, because I was very intimidated at the start because I didn't know anyone and it was so new to me. And I think what really helped me was that one of my cousins were there in the team as well, Tanisha, and Selena Simon, which was another girl that also played. And having those two girls that I knew really helped me kind of settle in, and they took me around and showed me things. And Shani as well, the captain, she did an awesome job as well, kind of teaching me here and there, what we do, what they do, and stuff like that. But it was kind of very quick for me because I trained with them for about 2 weeks, and then we went to Papua New Guinea for the Pacific Games. And that 2 weeks, because they were in pre-season at that time, it was really intense. I went in there and did 2 weeks training with them, and it was just ridiculously intense. I'd never trained anything like that. And I had never been into a gym. I'd never touched anything in the gym before going to Seven. So that was very new to me. And I think when I first went there, I think they kind of assumed that I had been in a gym before and had some kind of experience in the gym, but I had no idea. And they chucked all these weights, these weight numbers at me and said, "Oh, this is what you do for this. This is what you do for this." And to be honest, I had no idea what I was doing. I was struggling to do 40 kilos on the bench at that time because I had never used that in my life. But everything was just so new and it just happened really quick. But it was good as well because, as I said, I was never in that kind of environment, but to experience that so soon, in early on in the career, was really good. And I think that's something that I've seen over the years as well, being in the squad, or seeing young girls come through.
Yeah.
And knowing, how they would feel as well, coming into that team environment can be quite intimidating, especially on the field as well when it's so competitive and, no one wants to let you pass them and no one wants, you to tackle them. So I think over the years, seeing new girls come into the team, I was always trying to make them feel comfortable because I knew how it felt. So, that was my kind of.
Well, the next question was about the youth, right? So it's a real young and inexperienced squad. Some people see that as a bit of a burden because obviously experience is really important in this game, but the youth that are brought in have got freakish abilities, right? Do you think that ultimately could strengthen their chances next year at the Olympics? Like at the moment, they're not. Realistically, you're lucky to get a bronze. Australia will be lucky to get a bronze at next Olympics, in my opinion, at the moment. I reckon they've got a great squad there. It's just not. It's not working. It's getting better. They're getting much better, but they're probably at the moment they're sitting on numbers. They're either third or fourth in the world right now. But if they can get these young kids ready by 2021, they've got another year to work with your Soraya Packies, your Maddie Ashbys. You got Bien Torita coming through. You got so much youth. Faith Nathan. You got some superstars coming through. Major abilities, major speed, good power. Do you think these girls can kind of change the fortune a little bit about what's going on there at Sevens, like with the Aussie Sevens team?
I think as important as experience is, I think just the impact of what the young ones have brought in throughout training so far, like you can see how much damage they can do with their speed. Maddie Ashby's been killing it as well because, she's just running around people and she's got some really good vision in the game as well, knowing how to read. And I think, Soraya's up and coming. Her and Rhiannon Byers are really up
and coming. Rhiannon.
Being a steam train, they're just bringing that physicality to the team as well. So I think they're definitely making a massive impact. And I think them having an extra year to kind of prepare for the Olympics is only going to benefit them. To see how much they've grown in, I think Ree's only been in the squad for almost a year now. So, and seeing how much he's brought to the team, I think another year added on, you can only imagine how much more damage they're going to bring with the experience. And I think the best thing as well, Tommy Carter, the trainer, he's unreal.
They give massive raps on Tommy, huge raps. All the girls that I speak to love him. They just get so much out of him.
Yeah.
But you touched on Rhiannon. Actually, I forgot Rhiannon. You're talking about a girl another country girl from Moree. Yeah, Moree. Moree? Where's she from?
I think she's actually from Warriolda, which is it's just a bit past Moree and Armidale kind of thing.
Well, you're talking about a girl that's very physical, one of the best motors on a big girl I've ever seen. She's got a great fucking motor. She's very quick. Shannon and Shani have been great leaders of our national team, and I've got massive respect and massive. I love how their ability is great, but that 1 year, it could make a big difference. She could force one of them out of that team because she's been unlucky with injury, hasn't had much opportunity when she's put on the World Series circuit, and but Rhiannon was one of those girls in the youth that everyone should be watching because she's. Mate, if she played, I think she's built for 15s, to be honest. She'll end up being one of the best players in the world. She's perfect number 8. She played one game for me, and she's an animal. She just chased everyone down. She'll run after every ball. One of the hardest workers I've ever seen for a big girl, So these young girls might actually start to really push a couple of buttons and start to get those spots with that extra year. Well, you made your Wallaroos debut in 2017, correct? At the World Cup or before it?
Yeah, at the World Cup.
At the World Cup. You went in there with a bit of hype because yourself, but there was also Shani and Sharon played. So I had a couple of these Aussie Sevens girls in there. Everyone was pretty hyped up about it. We ended up coming 5th to Ireland, right?
No, we played Canada.
Canada, was it?
Yeah.
I did some research today. Our Wallaroos have never beaten Canada, USA, England, or New Zealand. Never.
England and New Zealand are up there.
They're great team. Great teams.
I personally felt like we could have beaten Canada when we played them, but mate, we just it's just that sport. Any sport, if no one turns up for it, then you can only expect to lose. So, it was a tough game, but. Yeah.
Well, you played Ireland and won the group games, I think. I remember.
Yeah, our first game was against Ireland, and then we played them again, and we beat them because they beat us in the first game, and then we beat them the second time.
How was that? Playing Ireland at Ireland? Was it how many people were that game?
Oh, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Obviously, the crowd was, rooting for them. And the first game, everyone was a bit nervous, obviously, but
Yeah.
the nerves got the better of us. And I think we didn't really use the ball the best we could have in that first game. But I think we had, done so much, reviewing of the game and knew where we were going wrong and where we could have, used the ball better. And definitely happened in the second game against them. So it felt really good to beat Ireland on home, home soil as well. So especially after losing to them.
How was the whole experience of the World Cup? Like the 2017 was a big year for rugby, women's rugby. Mate, I'm sure 2021 in New Zealand is going to be fucking crazy, right? But how was that experience, and what are you expecting from this 2021? I reckon it'll be nearly as big as the men's. To be honest, like New Zealanders love their rugby, regardless if it's men's, women's, kids, boys, whatever, 7s, 15s. They just love rugby. It's their religion. Are you guys expecting a very large and vocal event? Is this what you're preparing for?
Yeah, definitely. I think like my first experience playing for Wallaroos at that World Cup was crazy. Like it was something new to me as well because I've never, the only thing was the Aussie Sevens team playing internationally with the Aussie Sevens team and being around, the other teams as well. But with World Cup, we were in camp for about 4.5 weeks, and we were together for 4.5 weeks. So, not being with family for that long for me as well was pretty tough because I'm such a family orientated person. But and then going to Ireland, the other side of the world, and being in camp and then just being involved around rugby was very overwhelming as well.
Yeah.
The whole hype of World Cup and stuff like that. It was just so surreal because it was everything for me had happened so quick. So everything from playing for Gillaroos and then straight into sevens and then straight from sevens straight to the World Cup. Like
within 2 years.
So quick. So it was so it was very, very overwhelming for me because I was just trying to still find myself in rugby as well because I was still learning the game and stuff like that. And I was very new, obviously playing for 15 for Australia at a World Cup for the first time. It's crazy because the only 15s game that I played before that was for 15s for the Penrith team and New South Wales at nationals and stuff like that. So it's very exciting to look forward to 2021 because obviously in New Zealand as well, just across the ditch, and New Zealand's very strong with rugby as well. And, it's very exciting.
Well, 2021 in New Zealand, obviously by a mile, New Zealand are the most overwhelming favourites to win this World Cup. They're animals. They're very good. The one positive is that in spurts we can keep up with them. They just capitalise on our mistakes really well, right?
Yeah.
They are a fucking great team. Obviously, you're thinking about every team you're going to play. But what's the fucking game plan to beat the Black Ferns? Can we get up? Can we get these girls or what? Like, you got some fucking animals in your team. Like, Gracie Hamilton's going to be one of the best players in the world. Chance Minch is untouchable. Your forward pack, especially your front row, is so versatile. Your back line, in my opinion, is a better back line than the Black Ferns. They win for their forwards. They play really hard for their forwards. Can we get these guys or what? Like, realistically, or are we chasing pipe dreams? Have we got a good chance of beating them? Is it just going to be a lucky day, or is it no? We actually have the structure to beat them. We just have to comply to it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think we definitely can beat them, and I think like even in our last game against New Zealand last year, there was that try where we were in our 22, I'm pretty sure, and then we had a scrum, and everyone from the back line, we won the scrum, and then dished the ball out to the backs, and everyone ran their lines really well and engaged and sucked people in, and then offloads were happening, and it got it all the way out to me, and then we scored a try. I think it's just if you can do that once, then you're capable of doing it again. And I think that's the difference is that New Zealand consistently work together with their forwards and backs really well, and I think that we can definitely work better with our forwards and pick better times when to use the ball.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that we can beat New Zealand. I know we can beat New Zealand. If we can score against them once, I know we can score against them a lot more. But we all just have to, we all have to be on the same page and work hard for each other a lot more than what we do already. And just believing in ourselves, really. I think everyone drops their head after one mistake happens, and once they score against us, everyone's head just drops. And I think it's just about that belief and, that constant fight throughout the whole game.
Well, their tight five is really strong. Like, and that's where they dominate us in their tight five, right? They always dominate us from the middle. They just get those meters. They work in those phases over and over and over. They're very strong, but we've got a more complementary game of our back line. So, like you said, as strong as our forwards are, they're probably not as strong as theirs, and we've got to understand that.
Yeah.
But our back line, I honestly believe basically everyone in our back line could go play Aussie Sevens on any day of the week. Like, they're all as good as each other in the back line. They're fucking strong. Everyone is defensively capable. And I'm happy you said. Like, I know you were going to say it anyway, regardless. But you sound sincere when you think, we can beat them, because fuck, Australian rugby needs something at the moment. We need to beat New Zealand at something.
Yeah.
I'm over it. It's very embarrassing. My whole family's Kiwi. I'm over it. Seriously.
Well, hopefully we can make that difference.
If not, it's your fault, Mahalia. We get the shits, all right? On something serious, right? You're one of not just Australia's Indigenous Australia's, but one of Australia's most accomplished sports stars. And that's being straight out, because you are capped Rugby League Jillaroos, capped Sevens Australia, capped 15s. I think you're the only person to ever have done that. Is that right or not?
I'm not quite sure if I'm the only girl that's done 3. Because I know Emma Tonegado played for Jillaroos. I don't know if she played. I don't think she's.
I don't think she played 15s.
I don't know if there's any other 3 times.
Well, regardless, it's something that's probably worth looking at, because I know for sure you'd probably be the first Indigenous player to do so, possibly in any gender, right? But you're a massive advocate for Indigenous sports, all right? And this is something I love about you. It's just, I'll be at a tournament somewhere and you'll be helping Lloyd McDermott's. I'll be out somewhere and you'll be helping. And what's the new one? It's called
First Nations.
First Nations. You're there to help them, and you're a massive ambassador for the Indigenous community and Indigenous sports, right? Have you got a close tie to your culture? Like, is this something that you've always had, or is it something that you're trying to develop, getting older and like maturing in age? Like, you think of these things as you get older, or has this always been around you, since a young age? You being real close to your heritage.
I think it's definitely been there for a long time. But I think just seeing, coming through, nationals, New South Wales into the Australian team, and not seeing many Indigenous people play the game, and knowing how well suited their ability is for the game. And I think, when I was with the Aussie Sevens team, I was also doing heaps of community work, going into the rural New South Wales and doing lots of clinics with the kids out there, and trying to obviously encourage kids to play it that were willing to go into the program and do some stuff with New South Wales development officers. And I could just see how much talent there was out there and how much eagerness there was for kids to really get involved with the game. And I think I wanted to really do that more, to really, because I knew, from being in the Aussie Sevens team, where it can take you, and just the lifestyle of being an athlete in general. I really wanted to really encourage them to chase that, because there was a lot of kids that really wanted to, and not just that, but just sharing my own experiences, because they obviously see you on TV, but they don't understand the work and the struggles and the challenges that you actually go through to get there. So it's just like anyone, when you're in school, when you have people come to your school and speak to you about their story and how they their journey of life and how they got to where they are and stuff like that. It's so much more than seeing it on TV. So for me to go out there and try and make an impact on them in person, and sharing a bit about myself, gave them that a bit more of an insight of, the real life and its reality, to actually go through struggles and have to, go and find opportunity and not just wait for it to pop up. So I think, yeah, it's always been in me. And I think just rugby has just really given me the opportunity to actually go out there and share the word of rugby and share the word of, you know, how to chase your dreams and ways of dealing with, you know, challenges and stuff like that. So I've definitely always had that, you know, that passion to help people as well. Not even just in rugby, like just in life in general. Always wanting, you know, people to feel good about themselves and feel good, you know, about what they're doing and just in any way. So I really just, yeah, I think it's just in my nature to really want to help people in general. So if there's so many kids out there that want to play, you know, obviously whether they're Indigenous or not, like I will go out there and I'll help them, you know, with whatever they need and stuff like that. So I really do encourage, like, you know, our people as well to get involved with the game because they're so well suited to the sport. They're just naturally, you know, really fast and electric and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I'm really getting involved with that as well, with the First Nations and Lloyd McDermott and stuff like that.
Away from the rugby circles or the sporting side of it, have you got a tie with it, like spiritually? Do you know a lot about your tribe and where you're from and how it all come about and all that stuff, or is it just something you're starting to learn now?
Yeah, so when, like, as a kid growing up, I didn't really know too much about it because we were obviously living in Sydney and away from, you know, Walgett. But just recently, we've just been starting to learn a bit more about our tribe.
Yeah.
And where it covers and, you know, the history of it and about the missions outside of Walgett and stuff like that and how they use it and stuff like that. So still learning a bit more about it.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn about it, but yeah, it's not really spoken about a lot in our family when we really go up there.
When you're growing up, you mean, or now?
Yeah, like in our family, like growing up, it wasn't really spoken about. But like I think just that curiosity of identity, is what really has started to intrigue me and wanting to find out. So contacting family and stuff like that. And when I got there, I go and see the elders and ask them about the history of Walgett and our tribe and, you know, about our ancestors and stuff like that.
Well, it's like you said, growing up, it 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't as spoken about as what it is now. It's good that it's been embraced a lot, especially in the last 10, 15 years. The Indigenous culture of Australia has been... I grew up in Mildura, all right? So where I grew up, 200 metres down the road was a mission. So I've grown up with Aboriginals. To me, there was nothing... Ever since I was born, all I've known is Aboriginals. It's basically where I was born, and I grew up with it. So I understood the culture a fair bit.
Yeah.
Moving here. But then when I moved from Mildura to here, no one understood the culture at all. That's including Indigenous people, Australian Indigenous people, and it was a bit it was a bit upsetting because it is something that not just yourself being Indigenous, but the whole country should be learning. It's probably one of the best things about New Zealand is the way they embrace their Maori culture. And, it's part of their anthem, and it's a part of they got their own day, and we should be doing the same. I'm huge for building up our belief in this Indigenous culture. And this, your bloodline is the owners of this land. They own this land. We came here, and we must respect their land, and that's the way it works. I think it's starting to break down those walls. Real, I hope you see it that way, because I see it like it's those walls are starting to crumble, and everyone's starting to embrace it a lot more. And people like yourself just got to keep on working at it a bit more and be figureheads in this, because you are probably the most recognised female Aboriginal athlete in the rugby or league circles. I can't really think of anyone else that's probably at your level. So someone like yourself might have that responsibility to keep building it in not just country New South Wales or country areas, but also in the city and metro areas. Because people start understanding that what it's all about, and there should be more opportunity for the kids out. Because look, let's get something straight. In boxing and in rugby and in league and in every sport I've ever been involved with, just something about Indigenous kids that just flare up. They can just hold the ball for the first time and look like Greg Inglis on their first run. It's just freakish. Or get in the ring and they know how to box. It's just bullshit. Like what you guys are born with is freakish. And maybe Australia's got to start embracing that a bit more at the highest level and start. They're like they have in First Nations.
Yeah.
and building these kids to really get the opportunities that they deserve. Yeah. So good on you. So keep that up. It's awesome work what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks. Mate.
And now saying that with rugby, league really embraces it. It goes hard. They have their Indigenous team every year against the All Stars. They played the Maori All Stars this year. It was actually a pretty good game. Man, you're in rugby. You know, I'm sure every league club in Australia would want you. And you know, never say never. It could happen, obviously. Do you think personally, and this is not a swipe at Rugby Australia, but you reckon we've dropped the ball on this? Do you think that league's overtaken rugby? You know, 4 years ago, everything was about Aussie Sevens. Everything was about rugby and how great the women's game was. Now it's, you talk to somebody that doesn't understand rugby, they know all about league, and they know all these new stars, Kes Yeps and freaking, even everyone talks about, Tiana Penatani's the best player. Tiana Penatani's a rugby player. But no one knows that. No one remembers her from rugby. Everyone knows her as a league player. So
Yeah.
do you think Rugby Australia's kind of dropped the ball a little bit? Like, are we struggling to keep up with NRL at the moment, women's NRL? You reckon?
I think something for me, like my personal opinion, would be that leagues developed so much in the last couple of years, and I definitely feel, something from Rugby Sevens is ever since they won the medal from gold, the gold medal at Rio Olympics was something that really gave awareness of Australia what Rugby Sevens is, because I remember going to schools before the Olympics. And a lot of kids didn't even know what Rugby Sevens but they knew what league was. And obviously league's like one of the biggest, sports in Australia that are well known. So there's a lot more following league, I personally feel, before leading into the Olympics. And then once the girls won the gold, going into schools then, it was like everyone knew who the girls were. Everyone knew that they won gold. There was so much more awareness of the sport. And I think since then, there's been a lot of people still following the sport, and you hear about people supporting us and stuff like that. But I think with league, like, they've really engaged with the nation as well. Like, I think, the league girls do a lot of like community work, and they do a lot of, they interact with their followers. And I think like the whole way that they've grown over the last couple of years, from having no proper like competition to now having like the Harvey Norman comp, and now when the Harvey Norman comp finishes, they've got the actual NRL comp, the women's one. And I think Rugby Australia, I don't know, I personally just feel, I don't know, I think
there's so much turmoil in that office. There's so much. Can you hear me? Yeah, there's so much turmoil in that office right now. It's they're so worried about the Wallabies beating New Zealand. I think the ball's been dropped in the whole rugby aspect. People just don't understand the game anymore. They just don't play it. League is so much easier to understand. In my opinion, rugby's a better game. I've grown up with league. I didn't know rugby when I was a kid growing up. I played it, but I didn't understand it. I believe rugby's a way better game. It took me years to study it, to learn it. I wanted to be a coach, so I studied it. And that's where I think they're losing it in the league war. Is it, do you see it a lot being out west, like that no one really appreciates the game? It's more league because it's what they know and what they grew up with. Do we have to concentrate more in the western suburbs?
Yeah, I think especially out west, league's been very big. And as I said, like, I think league is one of the most followed sports, apart from like cricket and stuff like that in AFL. But league's probably in regard to like supporters and followers, I'm pretty sure, I believe league would be on top. And not just that, but with league, like, they've done such a great job with advertising the women's games as well, compared to rugby. Whereas I feel like a lot of it's showcase all about the men. And that's just the way it is. But I think,
and they're bloody awful. They're awful.
The whole broadcasting women's games and stuff like that.
Yeah. I know they're trying to fix it, but it's just something I had to bring up because it's Yeah, you know my involvement in the women's game. I'm non-stop with it at all levels, 7, 15, junior, seniors, fucking national, state, whatever. It just fucking kills me watching it die the way it's dying. I hope we can change something. But look, any advice to young girls out there? Because I know there'll be a couple listening to this one because you've got a lot of fans. I know you've got a lot of fans because they always tell me. Any advice about them chasing their dreams like you did? What do they have to watch out for, and what do they have to work on the most to help them achieve this?
Something I'd say to them would be to take the opportunity whenever it's there and use it like it's your last, and know what you want. Know what you want to do and enjoy it, and know that it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a smooth ride. So you got to, obviously overcome challenges that, arise for you, and it will build resilience for you as well. That's something I personally learned, is that you've got to be resilient in order to grow as a person. So know what you want. Go and chase it. Believe in yourself and enjoy it.
Enjoy it. That's the best part. Enjoy it. Can't do shit if you don't like it.
Exactly.
All right, we're at the end of the show. I've got the 1 minute wonder. All right.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, and this
Time is on.
This is just a couple of questions. I ask you quickly, you answer them quickly. First thing that comes to your mind, okay? All right. The best player you've played alongside?
Emily Cherry.
The best player you've played against?
I don't know her name.
Awesome.
She plays for the Kiwis.
Not Portia Woodman.
No. She's in the forward.
Forward.
Solid.
That's awful. I can't believe you don't know her name. Well, who's the toughest player you've ever played with or against? The toughest.
The toughest, Ellia Green.
Oh, fucking. Mate, there's two people in world rugby that I'd hate the try tackle. It's Ellia Green and Elev Kelter. They're just two people that go, fuck that.
I'll take Elev Kelter any day. I don't care.
Really?
I'd take her any day over Ellia Green. I'd be like, run at me, Elev. Go to the world. I'd be like, Ellia, you can just sit on the side and watch.
All right, so who's the grubbiest player you've played against?
Grumpiest?
The biggest
grub.
Emma
Tonegado.
Nah, grub, like dirty player.
Shannon Parry. Oh, that's like a test in the rock, mate. I'll tell you now. She's a test in the rock.
One regret about your career?
One regret? Probably at times self-accountability.
Accountability. It's good that you're saying that now. Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
The best player in the game today?
Best player.
Right now.
I'd have to say Charlotte, because of her, just the way she can create stuff.
She's like takes 6 months off, comes back and runs a muck. It's just weird.
She's just freak.
She's very good. The most overrated player in the game today. I'm trying to start a fight here.
Overrated.
Tell me what you told me before. Say Eva Kapani, most overrated.
Yeah, Eva Kapani. No, I love her. Can't say no.
She's a chicken shit. She won't fight anyway. She's a chicken shit. I'm just trying to start a fight. No one ever answers that one. All right. So what's going to happen is there's going to be no Super Rugby, but there's going to be an Australian Super Rugby series, right, at the end of the year. Who's going to win it, in your opinion?
Australia.
And WA is going to be in it.
It's a Super Rugby, so there's no Super
Yeah,
Rugby.
so there won't be Super Rugby as in with New Zealand and with South Africa, but there's going to be the 4 teams plus WA, right, in the men's. And they're going to play later on the season. Who do you reckon will get up out of those 4 teams in the WA team?
Huh? Out of who?
So the 4 teams in the Australian provinces, right? So Waratahs, Reds, Brumbies, and
gotcha.
Rebels.
Rebels.
All right. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to add WA, right?
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah.
So out of those 5 teams, who will win that competition later this year?
I'd have to say Reds.
Reds, you reckon? Really?
No.
Fuck, you don't even
Don't
watch
say
it, do
Reds.
you? You don't even watch it.
Hmm?
You don't even watch the bloody Super Rugby, do you?
I do actually. No.
I don't lie.
Every now and then I do. You know when I watch it?
When?
Then we have to.
Shit.
Yeah.
And they've been awful those days, haven't they?
Oh.
The Waratahs have been fucking
Don't even
crap.
get me started with the Waratahs, mate. Oh, they boil my blood.
All right, so who's the next champs of the NRL then?
Of NRL. Oh, Rabbitohs, mate. Got to stay loyal.
Rabbitohs, eh? Rabbitohs.
That's my team.
Is it Penrith your team? You're from fucking Penrith. You should be Penrith.
I'm
Panthers.
from Doonside. Thank you very much.
Dooney, yeah, well, it's Penrith. That's Penrith catchment. That's Penrith catchment.
That doesn't mean Penrith.
All right, so do you know about boxing and UFC?
Yeah.
Oh, I got one question
I
on
don't.
each.
I'm kidding. I don't.
Do you know who's going to win out of Tim Zoo and Jeff Horn?
Oh, Tim. Yeah, Tim.
Oh, yeah, Tim. Yeah. No, yeah, Tim, yeah. Why? Well, Jeff's nice, kid.
I've watched Tim heaps, and I don't reckon, nah, I won't go for Jeff.
Oh, you're just doing that because you're back in the Roses, aren't you? You're back in the Roses.
All right, fine. I'll go for Tim.
You're back. Who wins out of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua?
Oh, mate, my husband, Anthony Joshua.
Your husband?
That's my husband.
He looks nothing like Sam. They look the complete opposites.
Who? Sorry, Sam.
Yeah.
Sam knows that. Sam knows he's my husband.
Sam's his bucket boy, I reckon.
Bring the water, boy. Bring the water.
All right, last question, and this is the most important. Don't fuck this up.
Ooh.
Who wins in a street fight? A striker or takedown? So UFC fighter or a boxer?
What'd you say? A street fighter?
In a street fight, who wins?
Yeah,
over
bloody
boxer
street fighter. Bring it on.
Yeah, but who wins? In a street fight, who will win? UFC or boxing?
Boxing.
100%. Good girl.
Boxing.
I thought you fucked that one up. Oh.
No way. Boxing, mate.
I thought you'd say the little takedown bitches would win it.
Well, think about it. Bloody what? Ronda Rousey got beaten by a bloody kickboxer.
Yes, good girl. Smart. Well, listen, people. Listen. Very smart. Good girl. Mahalia, you legend. Thanks for coming on. I took up an hour of your time. I hope it all goes well for you. I'm looking forward to catching up very soon. All right. Say hi to your lovely man of a boyfriend, Sam. Tell him I miss him. He's the fucking shittest water boy I've ever had.
I was waiting for this to happen.
Just so everyone understands why. Sam always puts his hand up to be a water boy when we play. And we played the Western Sydney Sevens. And it was a real sticky old fucking day. And Sam's gone, no, I'll be the water boy. We're playing, I think, First Nations. Or maybe First Nations or Fiji. Fiji, because it was his girls. All his cousins were playing. And then we scored a try, and we had a bit of defense put on us. It was a pretty hard try we scored. We ended up winning pretty comfortably, but at that point, everyone was getting tired. Anyway, I see one person runs out. It's Tyson. He runs out to give water. I'm looking for the other person. There's Sam on the other side of the field talking with somebody else. Didn't even give a fuck about the game.
Mate, he was walking up for his game.
He's got the sack. He was not. He was talking to somebody, please.
He was stretching. He was learning how to stretch.
He was scratching his head. That's what he was doing.
Oh.
Anyway. All right, Mahalia. Thanks for your time, buddy. Always good talking to you. And let's hope it all gets back to normal soon, mate. I miss you. Hope to catch up with you soon.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Love you. See you, mate. Bye.
Bye.